Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast, and today it is a 2 vs 2 on Vaux Farmlands, and on the left side, our players, we have the blue Russian player, Odd One, US Forces, k8Faust, and the pink Wehrmacht, B-Man, and our red Wehrmacht, Mr.Kalash, I believe. And again, the map is Vaux Farmlands, and we have our victory point up top with our fuel point right next to it, and similar mirrored at the bottom here with our victory point. And of course, our munitions in the center, pretty much as usual, with the victory point in the center as well. Rear echelon troops moving out, taking the first territory point as well as the Russians, so just going right for the economic advantage by just taking the stuff right off the bat instead of skipping to the fuel and whatnot. Sort of an evened out economic advantage, that is. Second engineers for the pink Wehrmacht to make the infantry bunker here, and he sent his other ones up to the north here to get the territory point. Now for the red Wehrmacht, just sort of standing around, not really using his engineers there, and we have an MG42 moving out as well. And the second one followed behind that. Again, the way Wehrmacht typically operate now is it's so easy to get MG42s when you can make it right from here and just start off with that. So the second one on the way for him, 2 riflemen for the US forces, and those are moving out. One is down here and going to take this territory point before they move out, and they're really just covering the entire map as they're moving out. Conscripts up top here taking the northern victory point, where the engineers hide behind a truck here. Should be moving the engineers over here and taking the fuel point at the same time. However, some engineers from the Wehrmacht are coming up as well, so going to cause a little conflict up here, but I think the engineers will lose out on this battle as there's just a little bit more firepower for the Russians up north. Rear echelon troops now look like they're moving towards the center victory point here. Going to try and take that. So now the U.S. forces will actually have a slight advantage here, the Allies rather, and they have both the victory points. Now riflemen are moving down to the southern point here at the fuel point. Going to take that before the Wehrmacht, which is always a good idea, as the Wehrmacht needs fuel very badly. Now a fight going on up here, and chasing away these engineers. And so these engineers just blasting away at him, and this one's trying to get away here, and we'll see if he can actually get away without dying. And he should be retreating that. And just throwing this out there, this is, I believe this is somewhat of a low-level game. The person that uploaded it wanted some criticism and wanted to know maybe what he could do better, and I'm maybe not the best person at that, but I decided to cast it, and maybe he can learn a few things just by watching his own replay and me talking about it, and maybe he'll see, oh, maybe I did this wrong or this wrong. So I'm not really trying to criticize either side. I'm just casting the game at what I see and how I see it. Scout car now up at the north here doesn't have any troops in it. Should get some engineers or some Pinot battalions to go inside of that. And with a flamethrower, typically the best way to do that, rifleman going to chase away this MG42 here, but it's going to set up here once more. So it may actually suppress this whole squad here, but I'll be surprised they can just move right down here and they'll be out of the way. And sooner or later he could probably research grenades and actually throw a grenade right on top of that. Get rid of that. Another MG42 over here taking the territory point. At the same time firing on these rear echelon troops garrisoned inside this building here. So I think the MG42 will lose out on this eventually. Now engineers taking the munitions point in the center of the map here, hiding behind this building for cover. And we have engineers moving across, just now putting those engineers in there. Looked like he did. It sort of bugs out if you're actually moving for a second there. There it goes. Now he's the engineers inside that scout car. So you can go around and just sort of torment the Wehrmacht with his clown car. Now building a bunker up here for the Wehrmacht, and I'm not sure if that's the best spot. I suppose it will work. Maybe put it up here. That would be a pretty good spot to cover the fuel point and not just a regular territory point. Riflemen now battling out with this MG42 here, and they're inside this building, but it doesn't look like they're fighting because there is a gate next to it, so they really can't fire at each other there. Even though you could probably fire through the gate, but whatever. And the MG42 has won out that battle, actually. I'm kind of surprised because they were pretty close to those rear echelon troops.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Retreating some conscripts here, and I'm not sure what he was retreating from. Maybe he was all the way over here. Who knows? And now taking the munitions point with the scout car, with the engineers inside of it. I always prefer Pinot battalions inside of my scout cars. Cost you a little bit more, but they scale much better when they veterancy to 1, 2, 3 stars, etc. They scale a lot better than engineers, as engineers just typically scale in terms of repairing and things like that. They do get a little bit better, but just don't scale as much as the Pino Battalions. So they're throwing a grenade at these engineers here, and these engineers are not moving out of the way, and just go ahead and eat that. Now they're very, very low on health, so I think these riflemen will take these out, and maybe even kill them before they can get away. MG42 is set up here, but there's only one man left, and it seems like he may actually get pinned because he's not getting away fast enough. Indeed, gets pinned. Could have fought that out maybe and got a lucky shot and actually killed that MG42. Now the scout, we have a scout sniper here in this building, just watching over it, and I don't actually prefer snipers inside of buildings because they're very easily destroyed, and you can see them in the building from a mile away, whereas you can't really see a sniper if it's camouflaged just next to cover. So I actually prefer my snipers outside of a building. It seems like they always get killed if they're inside of a building here. Now building a second bunker back here, and again disagreeing with the spot. And it does indeed cover this area here, but he should have put it up here. You could just put a bunker here and face it here, and it would cover this whole area, cover that fuel point, because that's what the Wehrmacht needs. And just taking the fuel point from anybody, regardless of their military spec, is pretty bad. So you definitely want the fuel at all times. Now bringing down a Max, I'm setting it up here so he can suppress any troops in this area coming in here, and also hit them with a sniper at the same time, but nothing really over there at the moment. MG42 at the bottom here, and I'm going to set up and start firing at this scout car, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it, as the scout car is just moving up with the flamethrower, just going to burn this MG42 right out of here. And we will lose that MG42 most likely, as he's not going to be able to really retreat in time. And loses that MG42 crew. Could recrew that at some point, but loses all the members of that. So now for the Red Wehrmacht, only has Panzer Grenadiers and these engineers here. And for the Pink Wehrmacht, doesn't have much either. Just has some engineers and an MG42, also bringing out a PaK 40 and a mortar, because he spent the majority of his money into these bunkers here. And again, disagree with it. Just sort of a waste of money just sitting here. You can very easily defend this, as your base is just right here, so you can just bring up your troops, defend that very easily. Don't really need to put that there. Whole bunch of U.S. troops, riflemen, rear echelon troops, and a lieutenant moving down. It's going to take this southern victory point. So the U.S. forces, allies rather, will have all 3 victory points, which will lower the Wehrmacht score by 3 per tick there. So doing pretty good so far. Bringing down the Maxim, and also has the clown car here. However, there's a Panzer Grenadier group here, and they have 2 Panzer Shreks, so they're going to take out that scout car very quickly. Needs to exit those engineers before the car explodes, and that way he can at least keep the engineers and won't lose 3 of them like that. MG42 is suppressing these troops, and now they're pinned, so I'm going to have to run away there. However, he's bringing up a sniper, and he might be able to get a kill as he's running away, but doesn't really sit down in time, so I doubt he's going to be able to, maybe. Nope, not going to be able to fire in time. Now just firing at this fuel cache, which is going to take probably a little while. M20 utility car sitting down here on the southern side, and all of the U.S. forces right here, sort of just conglomerated, not really doing anything, as the Wehrmacht really isn't giving them any kind of competition, rather. They're all at their base. They really don't have that much, especially particularly the Red Wehrmacht here. It doesn't really have that much. Indeed, sort of a lower level ended game, but that's okay. And I'm just trying to give somebody a little bit of, I suppose, a little bit of criticism. That it's really not my place to critique people, as I'm not the greatest player myself, but I have been playing for quite a while. And now the Wehrmacht is set up in the center here, but he's just set up, and he should just walk over there. If he sees that there's nothing over there, he might as well start taking that munitions point instead of sitting behind it. If you play too defensively in this game, you don't take anything, and so that's a big problem, because you need to be taking the territory points. Not only does that let you win, it lets you gain resources to help you win in the game. So just sitting outside of these resource points here is not the recommended practice, or making bunkers in arbitrary areas as well. And M20 scout car looks like it took a hit there, maybe a Panzerfaust from that Grenadier, and its engine is now out. Now bringing up some Panzer Grenadiers, and they do have those 2 Panzer Shrek upgrades, so it doesn't a very expensive upgrade, as it's 120 munitions to get those 2 Panzer Shreks, although very, very worth it, as 2 firing at once does pretty critical damage. Just about 2 or 3 of these will basically one-shot, one volley shot most tanks, except for heavy tanks. It usually takes a few more. and now chasing away those Panzer Grenadiers, as the Wehrmacht is really just not throwing too much at these U.S. forces and Russians. It's just really not enough to take care of this. And now has this sniper right up front here. Going to lose that sniper instantly. That is not how you do that either. I want to keep those back and keep them in camouflage. And if somebody's going to be running up on your snipers, you can actually use the hold fire button and stay inside of cover, and you'll actually be camouflaged, and they won't be able to see you as long as you just stay a little far back. You will not notice your sniper. Thank you very much. Now, finally just pushing into this munitions point here. Took a little while to get that. Now, Panzer Grenadiers moving down to the center victory point. Got to take that as well from the Russians and the U.S. forces. Well, the Russians have a guard squad out. One of my favorites. I really love the guard squad. Very useful, although I find the shock troops a little bit more so useful than guard squads. Although you can take out armor with guard squads. The smoke grenades and grenades combined with the shock troops is just really, really exceptional, as you can pretty much just run up on any machine gun, just throw a couple, or just one well-placed smoke grenade, and you can run up to any machine gun and then throw a grenade on them. Very, very good. Whereas the guard rifle really only have the grenade and the PTRS. Battling out with these Wehrmacht here, and all they have is this PaK-40, and this MG-42 is set up and suppressing these troops, but loses that MG-42. Looks like he may have threw a grenade over at that MG-42, and doesn't move his guard squads, just eats that. Not recommended either. But sometimes it's a little hard to notice all your troops at once. But he didn't lose too much, only lost one, and took a little bit of health damage. Now the Maxim is in retreat here from these two Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers, so quite a bit of force coming down finally for the Wehrmacht player. And it looks like he has the Gewehr 43 upgrade on his Grenadiers there, so a little bit better firepower, a little bit longer firepower for the Grenadiers there. And again, up top, nothing really happening. Again, those bunkers really just being sort of useless. If those bunkers don't kill anything or defend anything, then really they're just not a very good value. Could have bought a few units with that, and then maybe had them at triple veterancy by now. The pink Wehrmacht looks like it only has these engineers, as they're just really not doing anything. They're just sort of standing around. So not the most intense game ever, but what are you gonna do? It was actually patch day, and there's not a lot of replays on CoH2.org right now, which is a very good website. You should go there. If you don't know about the website, you should go there, check it out. Plenty of casters just like me, lots of replays, yada yada, all kinds of good fun. But so there wasn't a lot of them on there. There was a few of them, but they were like an hour and a half, and I'm not sure if I really want to cast an hour and a half game. I would probably pass out. Now an Su-76 out on the field for the Russian player, my favorite tank in the game, although it's more of like an artillery support tank, I suppose, but I call it a tank. Very, very good in high numbers. If you get a few of these, they can take out just about any tank. It's sort of ridiculous, a little bit overpowered, as they doubled the Su-76's penetration a couple major patches ago, and I think that was a little bit too much, as double the penetration is really, really good. As they have very exceptional range, they're only just weak to any kind of damage, really, as they're like, I think they're considered a medium tank, but they're actually very, very light. I'm not really sure. They are indeed pretty much a light tank, though, as just a few Panzerschrecks will destroy them. Sometimes even two well-placed ones in the rear end. So far, the Russians losing no points whatsoever. However, the pink Wehrmacht player, not the best player in the world, just doesn't have a lot of troops, not even using his engineers here, doesn't really understand the concept here, and bringing up his PaK-40, which is good to get this assault gun, but he just doesn't have any troops to actually support this PaK-40, which is very unfortunate for him. And the gain for the Russian player. Now taking back the munitions, Russians owning the majority of the map. The Wehrmacht is in big, big trouble. I don't think they're going to be lasting much longer. And this M5 Stuart is basically holding off a gigantic Wehrmacht army on his own. Turns the tank around. Again, not good. Don't turn your tank around, just back it up. You can either just use the U key, or you can just hotkey your own key. Perhaps hotkey a key to your mouse. And if you have a gaming mouse with extra buttons on it, you could just click back with one of your extra buttons and set that to your backup button, and your tank will automatically back up to that point, which is much easier than pressing the U button or whatever you have it binded to. Naturally, it is the U key, I believe. So you don't want to show your rear to anybody if you can at any time. There's almost no reason to ever show your rear to the rear end of your tank to anybody. Not only is it inappropriate, but there's very little armor in the back of a tank, and it's a good way to lose your tank. I'm dropping down a 50 cal heavy machine gun for the U.S. forces here. Not sure who's going to pick that up, as they all got bazookas and such. And it looks like this lieutenant may, but that's a little strange. He's going to lose most of his lieutenant. But I suppose you got to do what you got to do. So better bring this 50 cal over here immediately, as there's a couple of Stroppen coming. And however, Stroppen are pretty not so good troops. If you get them in mass and you actually get them a high veterancy, they're pretty good. You do get 2 at once, so they're okay actually. They can Panzerfaust, but they do not have the grenade, rifle grenades of the Grenadiers. And you also get 6 of them, so it can take a little bit more damage than Grenadiers. They're pretty useful. When you actually make them and they come out. They have 1 to 3 stars of veterancy on them. Sometimes not at all, as you can see. And they typically have an LMG as well. So the best you can hope for with Ostruppen is a 3-star Ostruppen with an LMG. That's the best you can get. And sometimes you get a couple of them. Sometimes you get 1 star and 2 stars and the other. It's totally random. So it's pretty fun to get them sometimes just to see what you get. If you get a 3-star right off the bat, it's very, very good. But if you don't, not so good. Now a huge Wehrmacht force coming, and they're just pushing forward. They know they're going to lose pretty soon, so they have to do something about it real quick. And the riflemen here are defending and just battling it out here. They only have two men left. Going to have to retreat those out of there very soon. The Pak-40 also just firing on troops here on the back of this lieutenant here. Panzer Grenadiers right up to the lieutenant. Lieutenant needs to get out of there as well. Both of these troops could serve to retreat out of there. Only 23 points for the Wehrmacht. 500 for the Russians and the U.S. forces, so hasn't lost a single point the game. Over the Pink Wehrmacht, still just standing around with his engineers. Didn't really get too much this game. Is floating 1,000 manpower, which that is not the at all recommended. Always use your manpower. He could just be pumping out Ostruppen, Grenadiers, anything really, and just be using that manpower. Really, anything that he gets would be better than nothing. And the Wehrmacht lose the game 500-0. And again, not a very high-level game, so maybe not the most exciting game ever, but I wanted to cast something, and I seen this game, and I wanted to just comment on it and cast it. And so if anybody was watching it, if the uploader actually watches it, maybe he'll learn a couple things, because he was genuinely interested in somebody critiquing his game. And so if anybody better than me sees this replay and maybe give this guy a little bit of critique, I think it was the odd one. It was the poster of this replay, and you will see that soon when I post it on there. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I will see you guys later.